What's going on, family? This is Raphael from Planting a Seed. I hope you're having a blessed day. And for today's video, we're going to talk about how the preaching of the gospel can grow and how, incredible it is to be a co-operator of the kingdom of Christ, because we don't know how the little plant, the little seed that we planted in a person can grow. Before we just get started, don't forget to give some thumbs up in order to reach more people on YouTube. Don't forget also to hit the subscribe button, to give some comment in the section below. So now I'm going to read 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 6. It says, I planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the growth. So neither he who plants nor he who waters is nothing. But only God who gives the growth. Cool, that's it. So I'm gonna talk with you guys. An experience that I had before, and this was the reason that I create this channel, this name, Planting a Seed, because I understood that the preaching of the gospel is really a little seed that we plant in some people's heart. Then God is the only one that can, make that little seed grow. And what is crazy about that is that we don't know what can happen. I'm going to share with you an experience. For example, I work in a cell phone store. Not a cell phone store, cell phone cases store. So people that weren't Christian, so I preached the gospel to them. And the craziest part about it is that I went there for 6 months. I worked there for 6 months. Then I got fired. So the crazy part about it was everybody there received the gospel. I preached to everybody, but nobody really accepted Jesus Christ, even though they respected me. But the thing here is that this was a year ago. So I never see them before. I never see them again. But the little seed that I led in their hearts are there. And God can make grow in an unimaginable way. So I remember that I read a book. This book actually is an evangelistic book. It's called Evangelistic, an Extinction Species, from Dario Martini. He's a Brazilian evangelist. So I'm gonna read a little part of it for you guys. Have you heard about Kimball? Probably not. He was an evangelist and a teacher in Dominican school of the last century. And he preached the gospel to a shoe seller. The name of the shoe seller was Dwight Moody. Then Dwight Moody became an evangelist. And he had great influence in the life of a young preacher called Frederick B. Meyer. Meyer began to preach in colleges. During his preaching, he gained J. Wilbur Chapman to Christ. Chapman worked in a Christian association, and then he organized that a next baseball player called Billy Sunday could get to Charlotte, North Carolina, to kind of make a revival, spiritual kind of revival, how can I say that, event, stuff like that. Let me see. Then a group of leaders of Charlotte became very, very happy with that notice, with that kind of, that notice. Then they kind of make a campaign, evangelist campaign, and they kind of invite Mordecai Han to preach in that town. During that day, a little young boy called Billy Graham gave his life to Christ. So now it says to the end of this message, could Kimball imagine that someday he could save one of the biggest evangelists of all United States history and all the last century? Even today, Billy Graham, even now that he's already with Christ in heaven, because he passed away, even now he's still preaching, because all Billy Graham association are on YouTube. And of course, even today, I sometimes watch one of his messages. So the little seed that Kimball put it in a life of a shoe seller made a big thing. So do you imagine that? Do you imagine that? Imagine Kimball died, he passed away, and he went in heaven and he said, what is this biggest crown here? What is this big crown, God? And God says, this is the people that you saved. And he said, I don't remember that. But then Jesus looked to him and says, you plant a seed in Billy Graham in a shoe seller, and you plant the seed of the gospel in a shoe seller. Then he planted a seed in someone's cell and someone's heart, and then Billy Graham, a great evangelist, he decided to follow Christ. So you were part of that. So guys, I'm here to tell you about that. Preach the gospel, because you can bear unimaginable fruits on eternity. Maybe you can bear this fruit on, here on earth. I don't know. Imagine in my situation, I preach the gospel for these people in that store, and I don't know, someday I can see one of them, I don't know, being a pastor, for example. I will be very happy, but maybe I will never see them again in my lifetime. But someday in eternity, God will show us. And this is the most amazing thing. I don't know if you guys understand how amazing is this. When you preach the gospel, you can save a lot of people. So Kimball, he was used by God, and maybe his life, in some point of his life, he was thinking kind of, man, I just saved one man in my life for Christ. But he would never imagine how incredible that was, and how God could do something unimaginable for the kingdom of heaven through that. So keep focused on preaching the gospel, and don't forget, God is the only one who gives the growth. So just preach. Sometimes we as humans, we kind of try to convert people instantly in that moment. But you gotta understand that there is also the adversary. The devil is always kind of make them blind. So what we have to do, we have to preach, and we have to pray about these people, so that Christ can kind of take them out of this blindness that the devil put in their eyes. But this is the message. Just preach and trust God, and don't forget to pray about these people to God, so that one day on eternity you can bear your fruit. And don't think about receiving amazing stuff in heaven because I preach the gospel. No, just think about it, that through the seed that you plant, a person can go to heaven. This is the biggest thing that you can receive. So if you like the video, don't forget to give some thumbs up. Don't forget also to hit the subscribe button and to give some comment on the section below. And of course, to share this video with your friends and family. I hope I can see you in the next devotional time video. See you there.